3 years of work condensed into a 3-week trial, into a 3-minute reading of the verdict. It would take him a little longer than 3 minutes to compose his thoughts, so he stalked towards the restrooms at the end of the hall. Weaving between the waiting-room chairs, he sighed as the phone vibrated again. Reaching into his inner breast pocket, he cleared his throat and looked at the screen. Yeah, he muttered, thumb hovering over the accept icon beneath the photograph of Nancy Purslow in a cowboy hat and swimming goggles. That one had been a wild night. However, before he could press answer, his face smashed into a rock-hard wall of cotton silk. Reeling backwards, he dropped the phone and landed flat on his arse. It seemed he was determined to make a tit of himself after all. "Sorry." He was about to throw his hands up in apology, but the words died in his throat as his eyes trailed up the long, broad form of an alpha. The white shirt strained over powerfully built shoulders, contrasting beautifully with his tanned skin, hazel eyes, and mop of black hair. The beauty of the man was quite astounding, but it was the way his lip curled back over his canines that really gave Oliver pause. The alpha was pissed. Like, really pissed. His eyes slid to the black lanyard around the stranger's neck. It read, Detective Sergeant 578 Lucas White, Metropolitan Police. Oliver sniffed, because what it should have said was paperwork-dodging, glory-hunting city boy, but that was just Oliver's preconceived notion of the Met, of course. Scrambling to collect the still-vibrating phone, he was about to hop to his feet and brush off his knees in an act of mock deference, as any Sigma pretending to be a beta should, but the man surprised him by holding out a hand. The snarl retreated, replaced instead with a look of blank indifference. At least, it would have seemed like indifference, were it not for one of his dark eyebrows quirking into a rather pleasing arch. Oh. Huffing, Oliver took the hand that was offered and allowed himself to be pulled to his feet. The alpha's scent filled his nostrils almost immediately. Wet earth and treated leather, mixed with something wholly masculine. Had Oliver been an omega, he'd have probably deteriorated into a blushing, stuttering mess. Instead, his hand flew to his nose before he remembered where he was and who he was supposed to be. He played the gesture off as an awkward wipe of his nose, which seemed to work as the alpha released his hand. "Apologies," Oliver said, tucking the now silent phone back into his pocket. "Should have been looking ahead, not at my phone." The sergeant nodded, glancing down at Oliver's own badge, and no doubt reading, Detective Constable 1389 Oliver Reed, West Newton Constabulary. "No problem," the man said with a voice that was incredibly deep and impossibly smooth. "Good result."